Hello my friends and welcome back to EVE Online with me, Mark from Dadex. And before you get confused, because this Heron's in the station, this is not Red Willow Charante. I thought we'd have a quick recap on the fit, and I didn't want to be hanging out in a wormhole looking at fit screens and getting sidetracked like I do. So ThinTrash is going to do that for us. Do bear in mind that all alphas hit the skill cap, particularly for scanning, very quickly. So there's the skills that an alpha has. All of my alphas have exactly the same skills. It's done very quickly when they're created because it's the best way for them to make money early game, as I've demonstrated many times. So we're going to open up the fitting screen. We're not going to look at the fit of this actual ship because it doesn't quite match the one in the wormhole. So we will be much more exact than that. What we got here. My first last Heron. Here we go. Right. So this is exactly the same fit as a Red Willow Charante has. We've got the Core Probe Launcher 1 up the top. I've never used the Sisters Core Probe Launcher. They're incredibly expensive. They're not required at all, no matter what you're told. As long as you've got those skills, the alpha skills maxed out, you will be able to scan anything you can hack. That is my experience. I do recommend using Sisters probes just to speed things up when you are doing your scanning. But as Red Willow Charante is proving, because it's all she's got in the wormhole right now, basic probes will do the job too. Now the mid slots, and this is why I love the Heron, there's 5 of them, so I can have both the relic and data analyzer. I can have the micro warp drive so I can get around the sites very quickly. We've got the scan range finding array, which adds 5% to our scan strength, and we've got the cargo scanner, which, as you know, I use to scan the boxes on the site as soon as I can, as soon as they're within range, to see which ones to prioritize, to decide maybe which ones to leave behind, but we'll talk about that when we're in space. It just saves a lot of time, and in wormholes, time isn't just money, because you're most vulnerable when you're on a site hacking, sidetracked and uncloaked, even if you have a cloak. Now down in the bottom slots, we've only got 2. The warp core stabilizer has actually become an active module since I went in the wormhole. That's how long that Heron's been in the wormhole, guys. So I probably wouldn't use it now. Maybe we'll chat about that at another stage. And an inertia stabilizer just to help us get into warp quicker. Now if you don't like flying Herons, or you really want to stay with your race, of course, the Galante Imicus and the Minmatar probe are the same in terms of slot layouts and can be fit identically. Here's a suggestion here. You've only got 4 mid slots, so you're probably going to lose the cargo scanner, just to keep the versatility of having both of those fitted at all times in the wormhole, so you can hack whichever site you find. I didn't mention the rigs on the Heron. They're the same on all my hacking ships. I have 1 gravity capacitor upgrade. That adds 10% to our scan strength bonus. That's enough. Between the array and the rig, apart from very high level combat sites I couldn't actually run as an alpha. The emission scope sharpener specifically boosts the Rennick analyzer. Gives me a 20% difficulty bonus modifier and a 10% virus coherence bonus, which basically makes the Rennick analyzer tougher when you're taking down the hacks. That is simply because I find that relic sites, and we'll see if this is still up to date information in wormholes as we go along, relic sites yield much better loot than data sites. Ghost sites are the data sites that are the exception to that, but they are very exceptional. So given the choice between one or the other, I'd always boost the relic sites on my exploration frigates. The only place I've been told, and I think from the little I do see, that doesn't apply is maybe in high sec. Let me know in a comment. But certainly low sec and wormholes, you're always going to get more money on the relic sites overall than you are on the data sites. There are exceptional sites, of course, but that's my basic policy. 1 rig for the scanning strength, 1 rig for the relic hacking. Bottom slots, your choice really of agility. You may not want to have any kind of a warp core stabilizer on there at all anyway, even though you've got a 3rd slot. And the same with the rigs. I didn't mention them on the Heron. Your choice of them. You could use these CM drones if you can use them, but that means you're not an alpha. So just some combat drones in there. I guess you could put salvage drones in there in case you come across something. And also the utility slots up here. Alpha cannot use a cloak, so that's not an option. You might want a salvager in there. Let me know what you do with your utility slots. If you are still using Tech 1 frigates, but you are a Mega, i.e. you can use a cloak, just because it's better to have one than not. I don't find it at all a huge problem out hacking without a cloak, but it's obviously if you can use one, you're that much safer when you're at your safe point scanning. If you have trouble getting the cloak into your fits because of a lack of CPU, that can happen. Do remember, you don't need, you can fit modules onto your ship that aren't all switched on at the same time. It's a trick I use with the expanded probe launcher so my little herons can go out and combat probe. You can turn off the Rennick analyzer and the data analyzer when you're scanning, which is when you might want your cloak turned on, because you're not going to be cloaked and hacking at the same time, are you? And vice versa. So when you scan down your sites, you're going to go up to a site and decloak anyway. You just switch off the cloak module completely, not deactivate it, turn it off, and then switch the relevant one of these back on before you go up to the site, as I've demonstrated in videos. The one odd one out, and I'm sorry, it's the little old magnet. The problem with the magnet for me, this isn't one of my fits, this is just one of the Academy fits, but it demonstrates the problem, is the 3 mid slots. So if you go into a wormhole, you've got to have a prop mod or you're going to be on the sites forever with no prop mod, and you don't want to be doing that. Some of the boxes are, you know, 50 kilometers apart. The analyzers, no, well, if you want both of those fitted, then there's no scan range finding array, which if alpha skills you really do want on there. So you're only going to have one of these fitted at a time with a prop mod and an array. So you're going to need a mobile depot. They're easy to use, it's just an extra little layer of your process to switch modules around kind of on the fly in the wormholes. The real strength for me of the magnet is the 4 bottom slots. Now you can't stack warp core stabilizers in there. I simply fill them with expanded cargo hold modules and cargo hold optimization rigs, and my little magnet now carries 1600 cubic meters of cargo. Very handy, fast little ship, very low profile ship, just for whizzing around some loot, etc. Maybe ammo very quickly. That's what I use magnets for. I don't use them for hacking and scanning, simply because of this limitation here. The 3 mid slots turn me off to using this as a hacking ship, but it is a very useful ship. Anyway, back to the wormhole. And I will link a more comprehensive guide to those exploration frigates at the end of this video. We're in the wormhole. I've scanned down one relic site. I'm sat at my safe point now. This is straight after I picked up the probes from those wonderful guys at Shadow Cartel and their rescue cache. I'm just scanning down a second relic site. I've already got one scanned down. I'm guessing from the number of signatures that there are in here that it's quite quiet, or it's been quite quiet. We know this has got a high sec static, so there's always a link to a high sec system. If it's a very quiet high sec system, maybe no one comes in. If it's in jitter, it'll probably be like a bus station in here. Anyway, I'm going to warp up to the first one and get on with the hacking while we're scanning down the second one, just to save time. And we'll get cracking. Let's see how we get on. I'm going to speed the footage up a little bit, guys, just so we can get through it. And obviously, as I said in the last video, this is going to be cut down a little bit, because otherwise it will take forever for us to get this Heron filled up in real time. So we're going to get up to the site. We're going to scan the first box, see what is within, and we're going to carry on scanning. But we'll close the scanning. We'll focus on the site. Security is everything. Keep the D-scan going. 3.5 million in the first box, but over 28 million in the second box. So that's what the cargo scanner does for us. We know that is the box to go for. Let's see what else we get. We'll go through these hacks, we'll grab the loot, and we are up and running. Scan the next box. Just keep the chain going as the boxes come into range. The third box is rubbish, but here's the second box. So this is over 28 million ISK in this one box. We know that already. And it won't necessarily be a very hard hack just because it's a high level of loot. We talked about that before. They're randomized on the site. So that was a red lock, so they're kind of the toughest in terms of their strength. But we got straight in there. The actual hack itself there wasn't too complicated at all. Sometimes you can have a very complex hack and the reward is tiny. And there you go, look, there's 670 ISK in the fourth box that we've scanned. So that's the range you can get on this site, from under 1,000 to over 28 million. So that's what the cargo scanner's for, guys. Obviously, I'm feeling a little bit safe in here at the moment. It seems very quiet. There's nothing on D-scan at all. So I'm not in a great rush, but there's no way I'd waste my time hacking a 650 ISK box if there was anyone around at all, or I felt there might be somebody around at all. I'm always ready to run. You keep one eye on that overview at all times. like a chameleon, basically. So yeah, you just need to be ready to go. The biggest dangers to us right now are somebody already up here when we get here waiting on the wall pin, or somebody cloaked coming up to the site because they've already got it bookmarked, which some people will take the time to do. They'll bookmark sites, not touch them. If you ever land on a site and some of the boxes are hacked, just leave, because it's, you know, someone else knows where it is. They might have taken the good loot and they're just using the rest for bait. I've done that myself now and again. So just be wary of half hacked sites. Don't really linger on those ones. If you see any kind of probes on your D-scan, whether they're core scanner probes, which will be able to find the site that you're on or that you're going to, or combat scanner probes which are looking directly for your ship, and because we can't cloak they will find us on our safe spot, then you need to be ultra wary. You just need to be aware someone's looking for you, or may find the site that you're on even if they're not particularly looking for you. And any company in a wormhole is dangerous. I have been attacked by Tech 2 exploration frigates fitted to kill me. It happens, so don't assume that anyone is friendly. The Heron could be more of a threat than any other ship you're going to see. Just don't trust anyone in a wormhole. Don't assume anyone is just another explorer, ever. We're already on the second relic site and I'm about to double fail a hack and blow that box up. That box contained 1 million ISK, but I don't feel bad, no, not at all. I very rarely double miss the hacks and blow the boxes up. But with the cargo scanner, I do know that just because I've missed a hack, and normally that'll be because it's a hard or complex hack. Sometimes it's just me being a doofus, of course. But normally it's because the hack is one of the harder ones. But because I've cargo scanned the box, that's why I know how much is in there. If you hadn't cargo scanned boxes, or hadn't heard me telling you this information, you'd assume that those hard hacks that you end up failing because they're so mad were actually locking you away from good loot. They could have been locking you away from an empty box. I have seen it, believe me, it's in the videos. Right, we're on the last box of that second relic site we're in. Let's see what we've got here. Those two relic sites have put us up 50 million ISK so far. That's a pretty good start, and it can only get better. Relic sites can be much, much better than those. Right, let's crack on, see what else we can find in here. I'm not going to linger on this site because again somebody may have it bookmarked, so I'm going to head back to the safe and continue scanning from there. But first let's have a look at this very handsome Prowler skin Tech 2 Minmatar hauler. Very good. If you'd like a chance of winning one, even if you don't fly one of these ships and never intend to, they're worth quite a pretty penny, I can tell you. Leave your comment down below with your in-game name. Let me know about your experiences in wormholes or your aspirations, but more specifically, this particular episode is a bit of an overview of what I'm up to in this wormhole van life, particularly for those viewers who may not have seen season 1. So I'm skipping through everything here as an overview. If there's anything you want me to go into in detail, whether it's the scanning side of things, the hacking side of things, etc, etc, let me know. There's nothing better than a demonstration, so if there's anything you'd like me to clarify or have a look at, leave that comment and you have a chance of one of these skins. Good luck. Okay, we're now up on a data site we scanned down. This is the last box we're heading for right here. So I've blown up one box on this site. It contained 340,000 ISK. I still don't feel bad. Very, very quiet in here so far. I've seen no sign of anything on the D-scan. Of course there are ships such as the dreaded curse that won't show up on your D-scan. This hack puts up a little bit of a fight, but we're in. And the last box has dropped us 3 million, and I got 6 million in total off that site. So half the value of that data site was in that one box. And it wasn't great compared to the relic sites that we hacked, but we've only got a small sample so far, so we won't judge them too harshly yet. In fact, we're on another relic site now, the third one we found in this wormhole in this little session. So let's see how we get on here. I've already started going through it. It's not looking too great actually. I just managed to blow up another box because it had quite an infuriating hack, but again it had 300,000 in it, and that last box from that relic site puts the total take up to only 4 million. I think if I hadn't blown up that box it would have been 4.5 million. But it's still ISK, isn't it? But we're hoping for bigger and better along the way, and now we're straight over to the last data site. and we'll see how we get on with this one. Well, the first box has got about 3.6 million in it, so let's see how we get on. And we do actually get some very hard hacks. In fact, I failed that one very quickly. Getting that virus suppressor up so fast, because it does need to be taken down before you can really take anything else down on the grid, is a pretty bad way to start a hack and a doom sign for sure. So let's have another go, see if we can get through this one. We blocked off that way and we're blocked off that way, so we've got to take one of them out, and we can only really afford to take out one of these, and we're blocked in instantly again. Sometimes that happens. I've had those hacks, as I've shown in the videos, literally one-step hacks where the key is right next to where the puzzle starts. And alternatively, I think there are some out there that are just pretty much impossible to get through, dependent on your skills. If you had better skills than me, you would have been able to get through that second blockage without blowing up the box, but you know, it is what it is. Certainly doesn't happen often enough for it to be a big problem. Again, this hack has got lots of messy little stuff on it. I've got to really pick my way around. This has got some spanners to repair me, but it's also quite rare for those two really horrible hacks to come up on the same box. Much more likely that I'll miss first hacks and get the second hack than actually get two hacks I can't do on the same box. Even though the 3 I've already done here in this video is probably more than I've done in the last couple of months, but there you go. Can't say I hide the bad stuff from you, can you? So I missed the first hack on this box, but the second one seems to be a lot less troublesome. There we are, we're in 2.6 million in that box. Very nice for a data site. What's in the next box? Let's get that scanner rolling. 3.7 million in that box, but we're actually heading towards this other box here, which has got bugger all in it, 146,000. We might as well hack this one. Let's see what challenge we get here. As I say, normally you might get quite good loot on quite an easy hack. Let's see, in this case, we know this is rubbish loot. What you actually notice more is that you get really hard hacks when you know there's rubbish loot in the box. So it does mean that you don't have to fret, as I said. So think about using a cargo scanner if you haven't before. I know some people don't like the idea of knowing how much pressure they're under. By knowing that it might be, well, 147 million was the highest value single box I ever found in a wormhole in one of the videos. So they are out there to be found. Hopefully we shall. I think the biggest box we found in season 1 was about 55 million off the top of my head. So we got into the 3.7 million ISK box first try, no problem. Let's see what the next two have got for us. 1.2 million in this one. This is a pretty generous data site, to be honest with you. I haven't picked up anything like blueprint copies or anything weird, kind of industry material wise. We'll keep an eye out for any of that kind of stuff, some of which has been introduced since season 1, certainly in terms of industrial components. But we've got the 1.2 million ISK box. We've got the last box here, which has got 600,000 in it, and again, these are the hacks that catch me out, but fortunately the loot is not very good at all. So I've blown up 4 boxes in one video. I hope that's it for the playthrough. Those blown up boxes total about 5 million I think, but we've made 68 million in about an hour here, and you do get some beautiful explosions when you've got the time to look at them. I wouldn't suggest doing it halfway through a site to look at pretty things. But at the end of a site, when we're about to skedaddle back to our safe and log out, then yeah, why not take our time? So I think that's been quite a successful start. This is obviously very much an overview, a summary. As I said in the segment about the skin giveaway, let me know if there's anything particularly you'd like me to cover or look at in any kind of detail. We're up 68 million so far. 434 million ISK in the cargo hold in total, it says right there. I've reloaded my probes, I'm not losing them. We are 8 cubic meters over half full, so 192 cubic meters of cargo needs to be filled, and we need to go and find. So we'll be back soon to do exactly that. As I said guys, comment with your in-game name if you want to be in the giveaway. Let me know if there's anything you'd want me to actually demonstrate in these videos as we're going along. I'll be back very soon. Please do leave us a like if you've liked it. Then YouTube knows it's an enjoyable video and will share it with other people, which is handy. The actual last season of this series didn't actually get that many views, which is one of the reasons I didn't rush to do season 2, to be quite fair. There was stuff I could do that more people seem to be enjoying. So let me know. Just before you log out, do make sure you've got no active timers up here in the top left hand corner behind where my D-scan is up there. If you have, you will stay in space after you've logged out and could be killed. Subscribe if you want to stay in touch, but for now my friends, take care of yourselves and each other, fly brave, and goodbye.